please introduce yourselves?
Anne?
Okay, I'm Anne Royer-Coleman. My grandfather was Carl Royer, and Jessie was his sister. So I am her great niece, and I'm up in years. I've known Jessie all my life till she passed away. And I've always had an interest in the school, but never had an opportunity to really be active here.
I'm Peg Royer-Kostopoulos. My real name is Margaret Elizabeth Royer-Kostopoulos, but that's much too hard to say. I'm Anne's sister, so our lineage is the same. And I also, from the time I was a young child, was familiar with the school and incorporated the school into part of my upbringing.
And would you both mind sharing a little bit about your feelings about your aunt, your relationship with your aunt, and also about the school, the feelings that you had mentioned before, and your respect for her?
I think that the overriding attitude at the school, starting with Jessie, is one of love. And that's continued to the present day. She believed in the children that were here. She believed in their abilities. She believed that there was a loving relationship, and she acted that through her whole life. That, for me, it was observing that relationship of Jessie with students that made the greatest influence on me.
And Peg, in fact, you went on to have a caregiving career and a teaching career. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I went into nursing, and as a part of my career, I taught at Johns Hopkins School of Nursing and also at the Community College of Baltimore. And then later I went into administration, but still had a large teaching component with what I was doing. Again, I think whether consciously or unconsciously, and I suspect it was unconscious, was a need to share my beliefs and my caregiving, if you will, in an attempt to influence other people.
And Anne, you also admired your great aunt. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. In addition to the love that Peg has mentioned, I was always impressed by her strength and her indomitable character. She started out, the whole world was against her. Nobody believed that she could do what she could do, and she had to fight every step of the way. She put up her own money for many years to start the school because nobody would support her. Educators told her that these children could not be educated, and she persisted in proving them wrong. A great lady.
And much like your aunt, you also were a pioneer, particularly for women in your field. Talk about what you did.
In a way, I was very fortunate. When I got through college in 1952, women were not accepted as technical people. They were accepted as lab helpers. My education was in science and math. And I interviewed many companies that said, no, we won't hire you, you're a woman. Fortunately, DuPont hired me, and I was lucky enough to have a very accepting boss who put me in positions that I was able to be the first woman, for example, in the American Society of Testing Materials, which was quite an enjoyable activity, I'll put it that way.
And you both talked about times that your aunt, it wasn't so much that she would talk philosophy. It was that you saw her doing things, and you heard about her doing things. Would you mind sharing the story of the girl who could not walk, and your aunt's solution that helped her to walk?
It was a young girl who came, and I don't remember her exact age, but large enough that in relation to a barrel, she was taller. She had been kept in a high chair her whole life because she was blind. She wasn't allowed to roam or walk or go anywhere. And so Aunt Jessie got a barrel, and she put wheels on the barrel, and she probably put straps on it, but if not, she put it over the girl so that she could put her arms on the side, and that's the way she learned to walk and developed her lower extremities.
And Anne, you were touched by the story of Bobby. Could you talk about Bobby a little bit?
Bobby was 5.5 years old when he came. He was carried in by his father. He weighed 26 pounds, which is about the age of an 18-month-old baby. He had never been out of a high chair. He had never learned to eat. He had been bottle fed his entire life. His arms didn't work, his legs didn't work. And Aunt Jessie, who by the way was called Mother Graves by all the students because they loved her so, our Aunt Jessie taught Bobby bit by bit how to eat first puddings and then solid foods. She had to teach him how to chew. She had to give him hand strengthening exercises so that he could hold a spoon for himself. And at one point she took him to a concert, and he came home and he sat down at the piano and played what he had heard at the concert. And of course she got him music lessons, and he grew up to be quite an accomplished pianist, won quite a number of awards, and supported himself through his playing.
Your aunt she passed away many years ago now. The school that she started, still going strong. And being here today and on other occasions when you come here, you both have said that you still can see her influence here. Could you just talk a little bit about how you see her legacy still today?
I think that she demonstrated such loving care that she inspired the people around her with that same attitude of loving care. And that became the culture for the school. As people came in and as the school expanded, they too were assimilated into that culture. And I believe that that culture still exists, and as people are employed here, they embrace that culture the same way. I don't think I've ever seen happier faculty or workers anyplace. And I believe it's because of that culture that's here.
Anne, is there anything you would add to that?
I don't think so. I think that Peg said it very well.